All right, what's up, everyone? A little impromptu live. We have special guests here, all the way from Montreal, or just east. Is it east of Montreal?
Yeah, 3.5 hours east of Montreal.
Bring your mic in close. That way.
3.5 hours east of Montreal, a small little town called Saint-Jean-Paul.
So my favorite cabinets. Well, I guess I have to pay love to both of my two favorite cabinets, Sonic and Rousseau. Russo cabinet line, I believe, are the best cabinets in the world. Best fit, best finish, best best ability to basically make whatever cabinet array you want. Also, things like the spider shelving system. You do all kinds, anything to do with cabinetry, shelving. And so, Rob, you've been with the company for almost 30 years now. So what I wanted to do was dig into the Russo story. And then we can start to talk about some of the virtues of the cabinet. And I just have some questions of things that I don't know the answer to that I'd love to talk about the drawer system and the patents and some of the details that you guys have put together, and kind of dig into how a cabinet's made. So you started with Rousseau 27 years ago. Give me a little. How do you end up there? Give me a little background of you and what your role is with the company. I'd like to give the audience an inside look into that.
Sure. Yeah, I'd be happy to. Yeah, I'm not originally from Quebec. I'm originally from Ontario. Moved to Australia and then ended up in Quebec almost by accident a little bit. My mother's originally from that area, but then from there I started at Russo. Started more in the quoting department. Moved on to project management, and then from there I really went on to more of the sales side of everything. So for now I'm actually the U.S. director of sales. So I'm in charge. I take care of the entire United States when it comes to Russo, our distribution network, our partners that we've built over the years. So that's basically my story when it comes to Russo itself.
So is Russo a family company?
Yeah, Russo's a third-generation family-owned company. Started in 1950 by a gentleman by the name of Andre Russo. It moved on to his grandson being the president and owner of the company now. So Charles Alexander Perret in 2017 basically took over as owner and general manager of the company.
Okay. And is everything headquartered in one big factory, or do you have a bunch of different places?
Yeah, we have 3 manufacturing facilities now. So Russo 1, which is our headquarters, is located in Saint-Jean-Paul. We're just over 200,000 square feet. Okay. We built a second manufacturing facility, probably about, I would say, maybe 7 or 8 miles away. Okay. And that's Russo 2. And then we're at about, I would say, about 130,000 square feet. And now we actually have Russo 3. So we have 3 manufacturing facilities. And, and again, we're doing more additions as we speak right now. We're actually breaking ground on doing more and more. A lot of our processes have changed over the years, a lot of automation. So the machines are a little bit bigger, all state-of-the-art equipment that we have to manufacture the best cabinets in the world. This is what we're doing.
But everything's made in Canada.
Everything is 100% made in those 3 factories, absolutely. So we have 400 employees right now. Okay. And again, now we're adding onto our team daily.
So what about so you guys building everything sort of just in time, or do you have a giant storage warehouse? I mean, how do you?
Everything is just in time, which is unbelievable. The way that things can get manufactured now is that we take a look at some of the machinery we have. We have a new system called the Night Train that actually stores different sheets of product, calculates what's on order, and maximizes the amount of steel. Because we're very, very conscious when it comes to the environment, is that we don't want to leave a big footprint on the environment. So we want to maximize and have as little waste as humanly possible. So one sheet of steel could have 20 different pieces of product cut and laser cutted and bended just from that one single sheet.
So when you're doing that cutting and then eventually stamping, right, and bending and and welding and all that. So when everything's, I'm assuming, done through automation, right? Where they'll cut out and try to find the most efficient way to have the least.
For sure. Again, state-of-the-art equipment. There's some equipment at Russo we're the only company in the world that actually has that. And it's kind of strange to say that in a small little town like where we are, but again, labor is always an issue. It's hard for people to find people that are actually willing to work behind a brake press or work behind a bending or stamping machine itself. So we try to do as much automation. There's some items that you have no choice that need to have manual labor to do it, and it's great, and it's been doing that. We mentioned the 3rd-generation ownership. We also have 3rd-generation employees in our factory as well, and even in the offices, which is really, really makes it a very family-oriented company.
So my blue cabinet's out there.
Yes.
So let's say today, we design it. So we draw it in our software home designer, and we've been able to take and work with the back end team to get all the assets we need, so that when we design it, it looks exactly like a Russo, so we can 3D render it, essentially walk people through it. We can pick. There's how many colors are there? Choice.
Russo has 20 standard colors on its palette.
But then we can color to sample, right? We can make whatever we want.
Yeah, we work with an RAL color code system.
Okay.
So if it's an RAL number, we have that possibility of doing it. So
if I want to make my Porsche, Golf blue, whatever RAL number, whatever 7285, I can provide that sample.
We can provide that sample and paint it accordingly for sure.
What is the upcharge on that? Do you know?
It varies on the size of the project itself. Because what happens with us, our paint supplier mandates us to buy a certain quantity of paint, and because it's such a custom color that eventually we may not ever use the remaining of it. So from there, so again, it's basically, let's see what the project is, and then we'll price it out accordingly.
Ballpark,
I would say somewhere around, it could be range from $750 to $1,500.
Oh, on the $30,000 set.
Exactly. Yeah. And now you're getting that custom feel to match that product, to match your Porsche, for example.
So, but the 20 standard colors are all the same price?
They're all the same price, regardless. And the beauty of our product is that it doesn't all have to be the same color. You can two-tone our product as well. So have the shell one color, the drawers another color, or even have an accent color on a certain item. And again, no charge for that. That's a standard.
Like if you wanted one drawer to look a certain, till they kind of offset.
Exactly.
Oh man, I didn't even think about that.
You look at a car's a certain color. You got these nice black wheels, and now you want to try to incorporate that into your design of your bench. Why wouldn't you do that?
Okay, so I place my order. I choose my color. Obviously, we choose our cabinets, and if you go to obsessedgarage.com, you can see we've because your catalog is like 500 pages, right? And then even from there, the catalog doesn't even classify every option that you could have. But there's a system. Explain to me the drawer height system, how that works. It's mathematical.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. When you take a look at the shell of the cabinet itself, so let's, for example, we'll take a 34-inch shell of a cabinet housing. Okay. Well, you got a 2-inch frame at the top, 2-inch frame at the bottom.
Okay.
-4, that's where your drawer space is.
Okay.
And then from there, when it comes to drawer heights themselves, it's very, very simple to calculate. You take a look at whatever item you're trying to store in that particular drawer, and a 4-inch drawer, you remove 1 inch. That's your usable width. That's your usable space inside the drawer.
So the face is 4, but you have 3 inches inside.
Exactly. So you have a 4-inch part, you need a 5-inch drawer. That easy to calculate.
And so then, obviously, you have the online configurator. We have it linked to our site as well, so you can kind of design out the drawer if you can't do the simple math. But so you have 34 inches of internal dimension, and then you can figure out whatever combination works there with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. 12, inch
go all the way up to
drawers.
14-inch drawers, absolutely, at every inch, starting from 3.
Whatever size you want, to kind of, but then the combination has to fit into that shell.
Exactly. And the beauty of the My Model R configurator you mentioned is that it doesn't allow you to make a mistake. It'll narrow down what drawer dimension is space available in that shell.
So then the standard, what are the standard heights we're ordering? I think, what are they, 40 inches tall?
I think they're a 34-inch shell with a 4-inch base. Because you want to have a base, so when you're standing in front of it, you're not kicking your toes under the front of the unit itself.
Gotcha. And then, but there are other heights you can do as well, right?
For sure. Width-wise, if we take a look, we talk about widths, we start at 18, go all the way up to 60 at every 6-inch increment. And then height-wise, again, we start 28, 30, we do 34, 38. And then again, we go all the way up to a 58-inch high cabinet. We do have the possibility of doing special heights, but if we look at the standards that we have in our catalog are those.
And then the formula is based on a 2-inch cabinet or 2-inch drawer and above.
Exactly.
3-inch. Right. 3-inch face, 2-inch internal.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, sorry.
And that's a pretty small looking.
It's pretty small, but again, things for like wrenches, something that's very, very flat, something like that. Screwdrivers, again, excellent.
So we picked our color. We pick our sizes, right? We have back panels, we have uppers, we have closets. One thing that you guys don't do is a typical like two-doored closet unless we went to Spider, right? So you would do like the stackable. You can work with Kyle and Chris and the team, the design team, but we have a stackable closet, which I would argue is actually a little bit more usable than a typical like two-door closet. So I was thinking about this the other day when I was making the video. What do we call the standard cabinet line? Is there like a marketing term for it? We have Spider, right? But what is the industrial cabinets? What do we call those?
You know, the series itself, when it comes to the garage system, it's called the GT line of product. But GT, but it's inspired from our R line of cabinets. So all of our drawer cabinets come from our R series. So the R series is our third generation of drawer systems that
so we're going to call it. I was thinking about this the other day. I'm like, I don't know what's the marketing term. What do I call these? When we were doing a garage. I don't know if you saw the red garage we did up in Ohio, and of the cranberry red. And I'm like, what? I kept fumbling in the video and I couldn't remember what we called it. So now I know. Now it's committed. R series is what we would call the cabinet line. So then we choose our configuration, and then Obsessed Garage would place the order for you. What are current build times change depending on supply demand and and labor availability? Since you're the number one sales guy here, what's the rough time frame from us submitting order to delivery?
Okay. Yeah. Again, a lot of variables in there when it comes to the size of the order itself. But we work really, really hard to have the best lead times out on the market. So if I look at a nice garage setup system, I would say that it would ship within 4 working weeks.
Oh,
so
okay.
That would be our regular lead time. If someone's looking for one toolbox, for example, we can get the toolbox out in 12 to 15 working days. So that's something that we're striving to do all the time, is have the best lead time out on the market.
So the question about the rolling toolbox, would that be called R line too?
That would be the R line as well. Yeah.
You just put wheels on it. You can build whatever frickin' toolbox you can dream up to 60 inches wide, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you can different heights, different drawer configurations. It gets a little wild there, the amount of
and we have two different styles. You can have all full width drawers, or you can have what we call our multi-drawer version.
Right.
So you have full widths, and then you separate both sides.
Yep. I have one of those rolling around here somewhere. I have a red one. So then you have countertop options as well. Your countertops are the best in the business. Are you guys making countertops, or do you outsource those?
No, we make our own stainless steel, painted steel, and we also have another one that is it's a painted steel with lips on the sides with a rubber mat on it, which is good if you're moving things around, things stay stable. And then we also have laminated wood, or what we call butcher block tops, and we actually own that manufacturing facility. That's Russo 3, so we make our own wood tops. The only outsourced one are any type of laminates. Those are the only ones that we do not do.
Gotcha. Okay. So cabinets arrive. I have made many videos on how the process of install. The first time, I'm like, this doesn't make any sense, but then after you get it, you're like, oh, this makes perfect sense. Because of the modularity, the instructions have to cover a lot of bases, right?
For sure.
And these are professional cabinets. They're not made. I mean, your target customer is not a consumer. It's a dealership. It's NASA. It's industry.
For sure.
I mean, these are way overkill for the garage, but that's what makes me want them, right? I want the best. And so just to give you a frame of reference, I added it up the other day, the array that I'm putting in my garage. So it's 322 inches. What is that? 26 feet 10. Right, as the width of cabinets. I have the 2 giant what are the storage, the
R2Vs.
R2Vs, right? So the R2Vs have the sort of vertical pull-out drawers that are arranged in a horizontal fashion, and so those are expensive, right? They're pretty sophisticated.
They're expensive, but we at Russo we have an innovation team. And the innovation team, their goal is to actually come out with a product that people don't necessarily know they need. Like the only thing that was available up above a regular drawer cabinet in the past has always been shelves and doors.
Right.
And what happens with shelves and doors? It becomes a clutter. Things get shoved in the corner.
Yeah.
You can't find
It's
anything.
not a lot of usable space.
Absolutely. So the R2V, the vertical drawer system, inspired by the same rolling mechanism that we use for our lower drawers.
Yep.
We incorporated that in there, and now you open up you turn it, open it up,
Yep.
full access. You see everything, and it's been an absolute game changer. And there's nobody on the market that makes that.
So my array, 26'8" in the I think it's midnight blue. It's called
sapphire. Is
it
possible?
sapphire blue? Yeah,
looks like it, yeah.
Sapphire blue is like $30,000. And so we're talking about this is a lifetime investment. Now that's a large array, and so you just to give people a frame of reference. So it took about 4 weeks to get, say 4 to 8 weeks is I think what the design team tells people from order to delivery. The delivery was amazing. I didn't have a single damaged cabinet or anything. Not to say it can't happen, but generally speaking, the packaging is great. The individual palletization of the cabinets is great. So let's dig into some of the details of when we talk about R2V. Let's talk about the drawer system. So I show people this all the time. Some of the other cabinets that are on the market will have the and I assumed you guys just copied this, but the Austrian Glide. Right, the Austrian Glide that are made in Austria. Forget the brand name.
Folter.
So the Folter drawer glides are the sort of the standard in industrial space, and I just assumed that you guys were using those, and until I took it all apart, I'm like, this is way different. And so the glides. Tell me the history of the story of the Glide and how it's a little bit different, and why it's the best.
Yeah, well, we did because the R line itself was designed and came out in 2005.
Okay,
is when we actually introduced that third generation of our cabinet systems, and we looked at every possible solution when it came to the rolling system itself, right? And again, the Glide that you're talking about, that Folterer, we looked at it, we did tests on it, and our team itself said this is the most important part of the drawer is the rolling system itself. Do you really want that to be a product that you can't control any of the quality? And our team said no. So what we ended up doing is that we designed our own, what we call the carriage system itself. Okay. So the carriage itself, we were able to design it. We offer a lifetime warranty on it. We're able to test it. We're able to do everything that we need to do when it comes to checking the quality of it. So what we did, and we wanted to have, our goal was to have 400-pound capacity. I think that was our goal. But not only have the 400-pound capacity, we wanted to have the most amount of cycles. A cycle is an open and closed. So we wanted to beat all of our competitors. And we had it independently tested. And we get over 17,000 cycles loaded with 400 pounds. And with all of the other brands out there, I'm not going to mention any names, but all of them combined didn't even come to half of what Russo gets. Anybody can say that their drawer holds 400 pounds, but how many cycles will it hold?
Thought of that. Okay.
That's the most important part of the drawer is the cycle itself and the rolling system. At 200 pounds, which is more realistic. I've been with Russo for 27 years, and you don't see too many drawers with 400
What are you going to
pounds.
put? You'd have to
That's
put
a
like
heck
bar
of a lot of
stock
weight.
or like rotors, or how are you going to get that kind of weight in
It's
there?
tough. It's tough. You see a lot in the mining industry, for example. There's a lot of steel dies, things like that go in there. But at 200 pounds, we get over 250,000 cycles.
Oh, sure.
That'll last you easily the rest of your life, no problem whatsoever.
And then even if it didn't, you can just replacement parts, right?
And because we got a lifetime warranty on the rolling system itself, the only thing that we ask is that you return it back to us so we can actually find out why did it fail.
Yeah.
Because we don't get very many failures, so we want to see what happened.
And so my perception of the difference is the carriage system has cross braces, right? So you don't have the standalone glides. There's a cross. It's a basket that sort of catches or carries the drawer, and so you have the drawer, and then the drawer is also reinforced with sort of would you call it gusseting, where the
I guess on the very end, it's like a rail on the very end there. Yes.
So the combination of the two, you have the carriage, the clearly very robust ball bearing glide system, right? And then a very stout, the cabinet is structurally very rigid as well, and so you take those three things, and then I'm 230 pounds, and I pull a drawer all the way out. They're full open, right? So they open all the way
extension,
up, and so you have full extension, and then I can take even like a little baby drawers, one of the little 2-inch drawers, or 3-inch drawer, 3-inch face, 2-inch internal, and I can like do a dip on the thing, and you get almost zero deflection.
For sure.
Is it the carrier that does that, or the carriage that does that?
Yeah, it's the carriage. Now that you have, it's almost like a chassis. If you take a look,
better word. Yeah.
Yeah, I like to use that word a lot.
Yeah.
It's a chassis of the drawer itself. So it distributes all that weight, and like you say, no deflection whatsoever. We do this all the time. We tell people, stand in our drawers, jump in the drawer itself. And you wouldn't do that on anybody else, I can tell you that. You wouldn't risk it. So
that system is all proprietary, Rousseau. You didn't borrow that from somebody.
Absolutely not. We have hundreds of different patents that we have at Russo, including that one. It's 100% designed at Russo. It's all 12-gauge steel, robotically welded, and it's guaranteed every time. It's perfect every single time.
So now let's talk about fit finish. I had, because I wanted to order a countertop, and so I had Mike, who's going to do the install here, and I said, should we wait on the countertops? He said, no, they're precise. That was one of the problems with some of the other cabinets I've done, is I'd have to wait to put them in, because there's like an eighth or sometimes a 1/4-inch tolerance from cabinet to cabinet, and then I'd order a countertop that's too short or too long. So the other thing I noticed, so we have very precise. The cabinets are made very precisely, and then fit and finish. There's no like weld slag. There's no like the powder coating. There aren't like runs and like imperfections in it. That's all owned internally. I mean, how is that process different? How do you get it so accurate because most companies that I've experienced in the industrial space, that then us consumers, I call us prosumers, we come in and we want that industrial product. We're used to consumer products, and then you get an industrial product, and there's a lot of excuses made for fit and finish. Like, well, our customers don't care about that. But in your case, we're getting like showroom finish, like super high quality finish, and then perfect dimensions. How does that happen?
Well, first of all, we're an ISO 9001 certified company.
Okay.
To be certified ISO 9001, you need to have a process in place to make sure that every product that you make follows a certain type of process. Mm-hmm. So, for an example, an our cabinet itself goes through 20 different phases of verification before it actually gets to being shipped. Mm-hmm. So 20 different processes to make sure that doesn't pass any type of tolerance, doesn't go through anything like that. And we also have a complete quality control department at Russo as well. So we have different criteria that our paint has to be thickness, the temperatures that things are baked at. And, we do scratch resistant testing on our paint all the time, and even any type of solvents that can fall on it. So we're always trying to get the best fit, finish, and durability that we can on all of our cabinets.
So, like the sapphire blues that I have out there, I thought it was powder coated.
It is. Everything's powder coated. Okay. 100% powder coated.
Okay. So it is powder coated, and then, man, I just like all the corners are square, and
all of our dimensions are true, which is great, right? And like a 48 by 24 or 48 by 27 toolbox, it's 48 by 27. Mm-hmm. It's not 47 and 5/8 by 24 1/4. It's absolutely 100. You have an opening that's 48/24. It's going in there, no question about it.
Yeah, as long as your walls are straight.
Well, that's another problem, but that's a them problem.
So we talked about this before we got on camera. Somebody asked about like the sonic foam inlays, the tools, and we have we've designed a drawer size that fits it really well, and then each drawer has the organization system as well, right? So you can do the little red screw holder, what do they called, little trays.
We have plastic bins that we have. That's a patented design as well that we have for our drawers. We have partitions and dividers, so partitions go front to back or side to side, so to make your own little compartments if you're storing anything really small. Little nuts and bolts, for example, work well in both of those options.
Somebody also asked, Michael X asked, do you have a distributor in Europe that delivers to Germany? and that isn't UK based? Lance,
No,
that?
the one that we have is UK based. Is who we have. It's a company called
So they cover all of Europe.
They cover all of Europe for us now. But if there's another possibility, have them contact us directly.
Okay.
Sometimes different countries, we look at different options there as well. So.
Gotcha. So, can you give us a little insight into upper cabinet options, right? So we do the lower base; they all bolt together. You can bolt to the wall or not if you wanted to, right?
Your option, yeah.
And so we bolt the cabinets together, and then I really didn't understand at first the cantilevered, like the countertop that goes off the back, that goes 3 inches or 2 inches off the back. I'm like, well, this doesn't make any sense. Well, until I put the upright on.
Exactly.
So you have the one option that people saw us do, here at HQ, or you saw us do at the Rag Company. You saw us do in the Jonathan's Garage in Ohio, where you have the upright, the post. And then the post system would then catch the cabinet. So those uppers, what do we call the flip up upper?
Yeah, we call it a retractable door. So the door itself is that you pull it out and slide it in. So it's basically out of sight, out of mind almost.
So the other thing I noticed is that there is a 4-inch option. Right, so I could put it 4 inches taller. What do I have to do that? I just have to give it the different back piece or the different.
No,
back panel?
Everything stays the same. It's more how you mount how the cabinet is actually mounted on the post. It's basically a self-threaded screw, and you put a screw in. So now that upper cabinet, you just have to basically raise it up a little bit from there.
But wouldn't I have a gap with my back panel?
There's actually a cross member there. However, though. There's a cross member there, which is, it's a part number RC47, but that cross member itself there basically fills up that 4-inch gap that's there.
Gotcha. So what I'm explaining is that, so you have your uppers, and we noticed this when I was doing the install. If you're taller, like me, I'd rather gain some countertop height. Now, we already have 22 inches, so it would go to 26, I think.
That's correct. Yeah.
And so then you have 26 from the countertop to the bottom of the cabinet, because it gives you like a 4-inch extension option. Now, it won't match your closets if you have closets on the left and right side, or double height, whatever you want to call those, the doored cabinets, stacked doored cabinets. But that was a cool feature. There's also, I think, like a normal 30-inch. Like a normal 30-inch tall, like normal square cabinet you can put upper. Is there an option for that?
Yeah, the upper cabinets themselves, we start at 18, go all the way up to 60 at every 6-inch increment.
Okay.
So you can do all of that. So whatever option that you have when it comes to your upper cabinets, you can do.
Okay.
There's no limitations for that.
I'm trying to think of what other questions I have on how would you suggest, like for our home garage guys, it gets real confusing, like the drawer organization options. Where would you start?
Yeah, one thing I would really, really encourage people to do is look more to drawers than doors. When I mention that, anything underneath the work surface itself, I would never ever go with doors and shelves.
It's too expensive of real estate to be doing the only reason to do it would be to save a little bit of money, right?
Well, and even there, and I'll explain what I would do. If someone's looking for that, just say they're storing any type of fluids. People have a tendency of thinking, hey, let's put shelves. We'll sit it on the shelf itself. The doors out of sight, out of mind. Yeah. What happens, again, the same thing that happens up above, it becomes a huge clutter. Things get shoved in the corner. You have to get on your hands and knees to get access to it. So what I would do in reverse is I would take that real estate that's there and put 2 large drawers. So like a 12 and a 14-inch drawer. Now you open up the drawer, you put your jugs of fluid or whatever it may be in there, and you have full access to everything. Yeah. You don't have to get on your hands and knees. You don't have to do anything. And because we make the best drawer on the market, that's why all of our competitors like to use doors, because they can't compete against us when it comes to drawers. They can't do it.
What about, I can stack drawer cabinets too, can I?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The top of our cabinets can support up to 10,000 pounds.
So instead of doing like a closet type on the left-right side of my cabinet, I could do like a 60-inch by 80-inch tall if I just stack them, put one on top of another. Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, man, I never thought about that. That would look wild. So you got your 25-foot, 30-foot array, and you got 2 60s flanking it. I like symmetry. Right?
I do, too. So
you have symmetry, and so 2 60s in the middle. And my 60s, I think we set them up with 8-inch drawers. 8-inch faces.
Yeah,
maybe
very possibly. Yeah.
And so you have these big honking wide drawers and nice solid depth. I can put whatever I want in them, and then you flank that with some other like 36s, and then I did some 18s. But that real estate in my garage is so expensive and so important to me to put like a doored cabinet just to save $200.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make any sense to me. I want as many drawers as I can possibly get, and then if you have some taller stuff, just do taller drawers.
Exactly. Absolutely. That's exactly
it's just
what
easier
we do
to organize.
All the time. That's why we do make doors. We make great doors. However, I'm always pushing drawers all the time. And even when someone comes to me with a design that they've come up with there, I'll always give them the option of drawers there instead. Because I believe in it so much that it's just so important to do that.
I love the recycling bin for garbage, but like I can't in my current 3-car garage. I think you have to have a 5-car plus garage in order to sacrifice that real estate. I just can't do it.
But they're going to have a garbage can somewhere.
Yeah.
So adding in the design, it keeps everything clean. It keeps everything organized. It keeps everything the same.
Yeah,
so
but to lose 24 or 18 inches of drawered space.
Sure.
I'd almost just rather walk to the kitchen and carry.
You'd be so surprised on how much you can put in a drawer. People don't always see that, and especially we're talking a 27-inch deep drawer here. We're not talking about we're not talking about an 18-inch deep.
Yeah.
You can fit a lot of tools and a lot of product in a 27-inch deep drawer. Believe me.
So one of the projects I'm going to start working on here soon is the Multitech cart. Right, I think it's the best cart in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just not 100% sure what I want on a cart. And so I've been thinking a lot about what I need to start doing is ordering some different, like 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 different configurations of carts and kind of live with it, as a hobbyist detailer, hobbyist mechanic, hobbyist, just messing around in the garage type person. The thing I like about the Multitech cart is it's small enough. Like if you do like the standard size, it's small enough that I don't have to take a bunch of space in my garage.
Mm-hmm.
That's another thing is you got to stow it somewhere when you're not using it. And so I really need to start digging into how much custom capability is there on the Multitech? Is there like a universe of options?
Well, the Multitech, it's great that you brought that up because the Multitech cart itself, before we launched the Multitech, we had another cart we called it the Tech Caddy, and it was available with a cover and 2 drawers. That's all you can really do. Our marketing team did a study and visited over 200 different companies and go, what are you looking for in a cart? Like what is your ideal cart? And we gathered all that information that we got, and we designed a cart that starts with basically a shell that has a top and a bottom shelf, and now you can do endless possibilities. You can have drawers coming from the front. You can have drawers coming from the side. You can have rollout shelves, different hanging panels on the outside, a locking cover, 3 drawers, 2 drawers, 1 drawer, whatever you want to do. So what we're able to do is that we're able to design a cart for everybody. Mm-hmm. Now, what is the everybody cart? Well, it's personal to that particular person. It always is, and the flexibility of the Multitech is that you can do what you want with it. You really can. We got multiple different dimensions. You mentioned it takes up real estate. An option that we have is that we do a cart garage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you can actually put it under your bench, shut a door. Again, I mentioned I didn't like doors, but this is to store something different, right? You put it in there. Now you got a cart garage. So you got a specific location for that cart now. So it's not just sitting around in your garage.
So my recommendation when you're designing your 2-car, your 3-car, like your oversized, personal home garage, these are options that I just don't think we can fit, right? So your Multitech cart garage and your recycling bin, those are the 2 things because you got to make a sacrifice somewhere.
For sure.
So if you're looking for Matt Moorman advice, I'm going to skip those 2 because of the value of that real estate for me, and I'll figure something else out. But when you go to 4-car, 5-car, car barn, storage facility where you have the space, showroom, obviously dealership, then you start incorporating these luxuries into the system where I want a Multitech cart garage, I want a corner cab, I want some of these other things where I can start to add in some of those conveniences, maybe even like a like a compressed air reel type cabinet where you can pull the reel out. But for most of our garages, most people there, we're just not going to do that. We just can't fit it. So that would be my advice. It's a luxury. Now, if you don't have a lot of tools, maybe you sacrifice the space.
Absolutely.
You do a tech cart. You're more interested in the using the cart, and you're more interested in. I just think that if you're a cart person, you're gonna have a lot of tools, and you're probably gonna need a lot of drawers.
Well, you say that, but Anne Marie was sitting right here next to us here from Russo. She actually has a Multitech cart in her garage, and I can guarantee you, there's probably not a lot of tools in it.
That's true. Yeah. So we have to give people advice on what to buy as you're thinking through it. But it's one of those things that's real difficult for me to give up. But I think that those two things, I need more space for the amount of tools and stuff that I have. And I'm a bit, like you said, huge proponent. Let's load up as many drawers as we can possibly get. But now I'm starting to think maybe, my closets on the left-right side, just do double stack 60s, some big drawers, and then maybe I can sacrifice a couple of 18s. What do you need to fit a Multitech? Is it an 8? Can you do it in an 18?
You can do it in 18-inch wide, yeah.
Okay. Turn it sideways.
Yeah.
And it has like little bumpers where it basically catches.
It's got a glide. It actually glides it in, so you're not running into the side or anything. So it's made to go in there. It's like a little garage.
Shoot. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Because I do have my R2Vs on the left and right. Sorry, I'm very selfish here. I'm always thinking about myself.
Hey.
And when I think about myself, and then I can impart that knowledge on other people, right?
For sure.
I'm following the sword. I'm the guinea pig. And so we do. Yeah, shoot. Maybe I should consider, because I have two 18s. But my R2Vs have the big, deep 14-inch drawers on it. So I've got the 3 drawers and then the R2V, which is the basically drawer turn on its side, up top. Because I'd love to have a Multitech car garage.
Yeah, they're so nice to have. It really is. Now you can load up the tools that you need. You can roll it to where you need whatever you need to work on, and then you can just bring it back in. And if you're not done, you leave the tools in it, lock it up, or park it, and you know that it's all gonna be there the next day.
And so the Multitech cart has tons of different options where you can do like a 3-drawer, a no drawer, a 2-drawer, a 1-drawer, a 5-drawer. You can do whatever the heck you want.
A cover, you can hang different.
Oh yeah, flip up cover, extension hanging panels for
exactly like roll out shelves on there. So if you need to store a little something on there, it's just.
It's paralysis analysis for most people. So I have to make the decision for everybody, and then that'll be the OG cart. Maybe it'll be two versions of the OG cart. I got to get going. It's going to be a fun project to work on. And then you do your cart and whatever finish you want to match the rest of your cabinets.
Absolutely. You can match it. You can make it different. Do whatever you want to do. That's the beauty of it. Any of those 20 standard colors you can incorporate into anything.
Right. Okay, so back to my question about digging into doing bins, doing drawer, cross-slotting organization. You got any advice? I mean, it's easy when you're dealing with industry and you have certain parts. You go and you look at what parts they have. But if you're a regular human, and you're doing a regular consumer garage, which is not Russo's expertise, I'm hopefully helping to bring that bring you guys to the consumer. Where do we start with that?
I would never really go with just a basic empty drawer. I would at least go with a PVC liner at the bottom of a drawer. Because whatever you're going to be storing now, it's not going to be sliding around when you're opening and closing a drawer. So that would be the base of something I would do.
We do that in all the drawers. Just do their Mantis Tool Grid makes them for you guys. So the Mantis liners. So that's an option.
Yeah. So we do that, and then as far as it all depends on what you're storing. So I'm sure that during the design concept, everybody's looking at, hey, what are we doing in this particular cabinet? What are we putting in this one? And then from there, you can go right onto our website or work with you, and you can do a custom layout or choose one of our thousands of different layouts when it comes to partitions and dividers. Different slots. The dividers are adjustable at every half inch, so you have all that flexibility there as well to store any little pieces that you want.
And so you would go to, say I had a 36-inch drawer, and then there's a certain, let's say I had a 5-inch face, which is a 4-inch internal depth.
Correct.
And there would be there'd be various packages of bins that are made for that drawer.
For sure.
and there's little bins, big bins, short bins, tall bins.
Yeah, we even have partitions and dividers for the bin.
but there's pre-configured solutions in the. Where do we find that?
You go right onto our website. If you go right onto Russo.com, you can go right in there and you can write in compartments, and a whole bunch of different compartments will come right out. If you wanted to do something a little bit special, and you wanted to make your own compartment setup, that's easy as well. You can just contact us or yourself, and we can send basically a blank template of the drawer itself, and you can just draw it in yourself. Go, this is how I want my drawer configured, like this, and we'll make sure that you have the right partitions and dividers to do so.
Right, because you want the bins to pressure fit, or to fit,
sure.
Fit exact, so they're not sliding around all over the place.
Exactly,
that's the
exactly.
goal. And what I'm talking about, if you guys are wondering, that like the red bins where you can put all your screws and nails and like all your different, like every guy or girl that has a garage has like the parts.
Yep.
You just have like different screws and washers, and it's great to have that kind of miscellaneous parts bin. I'm always visiting that. You're working on something, you're looking for a washer, and you had some washers that you just accumulated over the years, and then you have that available to you, and doing that in like the little red storage bins makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely. Yeah,
your drywall screws and your tap cons and all the things that we use in the house.
Even myself, it was a huge clutter until I did that myself, and so now like you say, you need some drywall screws. You know exactly where to find them. It takes 2 seconds now.
Yeah, I wasn't willing to give up some of that real estate in my main garage, and so I have a spider shelving in my closet in the back. Okay. I took my air conditioner out, the air handler, and put it in the attic, so I had room to fit spider shelving. And so I've got a 36 by 80, and then I've got drawers in it, and so it's super usable. I've got so much stuff on that darn shelf. I only have one of them. So spider is a lower cost, even more modular from a shelving perspective option over R series, right?
Exactly, but it's also a knockdown system. So it's a system that you have to build. So you have your uprights, your back panels, and all that. The beauty of our spider shelving that we have is, you mentioned the drawers. Exactly the same drawer that goes into the toolbox in our cabinets goes into that shelving. So you still get all the same features, the same capacities, the same everything. So it's exactly the same rolling system, you name it. That you could take a drawer out of our spider and put it right into a cabinet system. It's the same one.
But spider is flat packed, shipped easier, and you build it on site, and the cost is, what is it, like 20-25% less?
Oh, easily. Yeah. And assembly, if people are hesitant about that, go right onto our website. We have an installation video. It'll show you how to install it, and it'll give you a guy, I'm more than capable of doing that.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's so easy.
Yeah. Especially after if you do one, then it just makes perfect sense.
Exactly.
Yeah, so we, like at the garage in Ohio, we did spider shelving in the wash bay just to save some costs. We kind of reached a budget limit, and so then we did a couple of, and with spider shelving, then you can do the typical closet. Yep. Right? You can do the double-doored, like 36 or 48-inch closet if you wanted to do that. Those are,
and you're not sacrificing any quality. Believe me, the capacity of an example, the 36 by 18 shelf itself has 800-pound capacity per shelf. So this isn't your regular shelf, and this is a high quality, it's a very, very structural, strong shelving unit.
Yeah, I'm a big proponent of it. I think it's awesome. I'd love to have a whole warehouse filled with spider shelving. That'd be cool.
Hey, we can make that happen for you.
Is there pallet racking too that you guys make?
We do not make pallet rack. No, we don't do that, unfortunately. Yeah. Well, unfortunately, I would say probably fortunate, especially right now. It's a dog-eat-dog business, pallet rack.
Yeah. So what else would I need to know about Rousseau? Anything else top of mind that I didn't think to ask about?
Another thing that every garage needs is sometimes it's just a regular bench. Sometimes a whole a whole setup, but just a regular 2 legs and a top. Something you're going to work on, pound on, beat up. It could be, and it doesn't need to be in a garage. It could be in the basement. It could be anywhere. It could be in a shed, something. So we make standard, I'm not going to say low end because they're really high quality as well, but a small standard little bench as well, 2 legs and a top.
Like a fold-up one?
It's not a fold-up one, though.
It'd be fixed.
Yeah, it'd be fixed, right? Exactly.
And then you could
be on wheels as well.
You could put a welding top on it if you wanted to, or whatever you wanted to do.
So that's another thing that we do. So we're all about storage at the end of the day, right? That's
right.
We're just trying to condense everything as much as humanly possible, organized and simple.
So I would say we're like 75% versed over the years, we're going to figure more and more and more options out. So we're 100% well-versed. We've been trained very well by the Russo team on, the bread and butter stuff that we do all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then what we don't know, the Russo team, like your team, is so readily available to us that we can get any information you want. Like if we're doing something custom, something crazy, something we hadn't done before, workbench or some different upper or some different configuration, we just reach out to your team and everybody answers the phone and they're 100% available to help us figure it out.
Yeah, the beauty of it is we have a full customer service team. So you have a dedicated customer service person. Our sales team is always available to help. We have a full marketing team as well to assist. So again, we're there. We're available.
What's you being the North American guy, what's the current status on tariffs? And
right now, there's a tariff that's being paid when it comes to like the steel, the cost that Russo pays its steel itself. Russo is actually absorbing that cost right now. We're not forwarding it on to our customers. Okay. We're taking care of it. We're very confident that that's going to go away eventually. Canada and the U.S. we're great partners and we'll always be great partners. And I don't see this ever being an issue.
So
I really don't.
We don't have any retail markups or anything. We don't have any tariff add-ons currently, even though they're made in Canada. There is a huge advantage to being made in Canada. Lead times, especially since we're doing custom orders for you guys. So keep that in mind, that if you're looking at other cabinets coming from different countries overseas, we're not dealing with any tariff and transit issues. Shipping is pretty easy to ship.
Absolutely. Our FOB point is actually in Burlington, Vermont.
Okay.
So we take care of everything when it comes to any of the custom stuff. That's all managed by Russo itself.
Gotcha. Cool. Well, I wanted to just kind of get this for the for the YouTube channel, to have this some of this detail, like even figuring out how to call the R series, right? Just figuring that stuff out. But I'm putting Rousseau in my personal garage. My other personal garage, I have Sonic, so I love them both. You can love two types of cabinets. You guys have been so gracious with that. Sonic has been so gracious with that. They're different options is always good. And so I've been the more time I've spent with the cabinets, the more excited I get. Just awesome. Oh, one question about the handles, the aluminum handle, is that optional? Can you change the color of that?
No, we only have the one color right now. Okay. It's an iodized aluminum that we have on there.
So that is one color that no matter what you choose, like you don't do a black version.
No, unfortunately not.
Okay.
No, it would.
Cool. Well, thanks for coming to visit us here in Florida.
It's my pleasure. It's great to be here. We're really proud of the partnership that we've started, and we look forward. Absolutely, and we look forward to seeing it.
It's going to be awesome. Thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Perfect.